We made it. This What the Fuck Wednesday brought to you by What the Fuck's with My Computer. Yeah, right off the hop, we are crazy today. I'm going to give you a minute to log in because you might have been here earlier and went, where is she? And yeah, that's how today's going. It is what it is. My internet wants to lag today. My computer wants to be slow today. It didn't even want to turn on today. I think it's looking for a vacay. And it is what it is. It's supposed to be like over 30 today. It's going to be crazy. Good morning, Kelly. Like, I don't know if it's going to let me, there we go, show anything because it's just one of those days. But I'm going to give people another minute. Shit's going on with the computer. Just got the post. Hi, Helen. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Hi, Pam. Hi, Cheryl. It's just a WTF Wednesday, friends. That's just the way it is. And my computer is really hating me today. But I think we're live and I think it's happening. So we're good as far as I can tell. Beautiful morning. Feels awesome. Just, yeah, technical difficulties. It doesn't like the heat. I don't think so. And it was so hot last night, wasn't it? I know. It just keeps like swirling. So I'm sorry if we got shitty internet today or what. I don't know. It's just Wednesday. Okay. I think the gang's all here. I think the computer is working. Hi. How are you today? Welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. I can't even say that. It is WTF Wednesday. So today's the day we get a little sweary, we get a little crazy. We're going to vent a little bit. We're going to let some things off our chest if we like. We're going to be human AF today and just realize that we're all allowed a day where we're not feeling like we have to be completely positive and completely everything 24/7, 365. Helen says, I can't remember when a 2nd of June was so warm. I've been up since 6, no jacket. I know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Apparently in southern Alberta, there will be a ton of rain that is supposed to come this weekend, which is right on par with the first weekend of June. We always have that. We always have lots of rain in the month of June. It's just the way it goes. I think that's normal. Anything on your mind today? That's what I want to know. What's your WTF today? You got anything that you were like, what? What is going on? Eye roll, something that's making you crazy. What's your WTF? A couple things. So the Edmonton, formerly known as Eskimos football team, renamed their team yesterday. They came out with their new logo and the new team name. They are now called the Edmonton Elks. Elks. I guess it still fits that they could, I mean, they designed a new logo, but they could still use the double E's, I guess. I don't know if they were going with that, but they do have a new logo with an elk head, and it is what it is. It's more, I guess, just easier having teams named after animals. I always thought, and I saw an interesting discussion on Twitter. I don't really care one way or the other, but I think the plural version of elk is elk. So then I don't know where they get elks from, but then somebody said, well, the plural version of leaf isn't leafs, like the Toronto Maple Leafs. So maybe we just make up words when it comes to sports. I don't know. But in case you didn't hear, they are now the Edmonton Elks. It's hard to say. It'll be interesting for I think the sports broadcasters of the world. Elks is grammatically correct. Thank you, Darlene. I always thought you would say there's a herd of elk, not a herd of elks. But anyway, it works. I don't know what my computer's doing now. It's a day. It's a day for technology. Anyway, that's the did you know of that. I don't know if anybody has opinion about it, or if any of us really care at the end of the day what the team's name is, honestly. I also saw an article yesterday in the States. I don't know what's going on down there, but it seemed, I can't even remember where now it was, but someone was talking yesterday about how people are just like getting into lots of fights. There's a lot of fighting happening in public. And so I don't know if that is one of the after effects of COVID, where people just don't know how to socialize again. So they choose to fight. I don't know if they just had some aggression built up with COVID or what, but I don't know. WTF, what's happening with that? Don't fight. When we get out, when we're allowed free again, let's not fight with each other. Let's not fight. Cheryl says her WTF is the Calgary Stampede. And I thought we might talk about that last week, but we had a guest. But so Cheryl's saying, what the fuck is with the Calgary Stampede? There's no Chucks, but there's a Midway, a Nashville North, and a rodeo. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. It's interesting all around how that is even going to play out. And I think that we're not really going to know, in my opinion. I have nothing to base this on, what that's going to look like until we get closer to, until we see what numbers are looking like, until we get into different stages. But I mean, the process that I've heard, some of the things, is that the Midway will be, I don't know the amount now, so don't quote me on this, but it's a smaller version of the Midway. So there's less Midway so that it can be spaced out more. I've heard the people who work the Midway, so the people who come up with, I don't know if they're called the North American Midway Association people, will be quarantining in Strathmore. It's interesting. Rodeo is a go, but I'm not sure what spectator is going to look like for that. I don't know. The whole Chucks thing is interesting. There's a lot of opinion flowing around about that one. I have nothing to say about it, really, other than it's unfortunate. Even if they could have ran them and have it televised in some way, it would have been really, really cool. If we couldn't go to see it in person, if they couldn't have that experience live, was there some way we could have watched it? I think would have been cool. I don't know. It's crazy. I've heard that it's, you'll only be able to go to Stampede with your household, and there still might be masks, and I don't know. Some people have commented on, the comparison of, and I feel bad for our grade 12 students of the world who are going to miss out on having that graduation experience when a couple of weeks later it could be this experience, and why they don't get to have that, or how there couldn't be a way to do that in a safer, better way. I'm not sure. I feel bad for them to be robbed of that experience, but I don't know. I mean, some people are mad that, and you could be in that boat, so I don't take away your mad, but they're mad just that it's happening in general. But I think that we have to start to open up in some capacity. We have to start to do something. And I think all of the things are going to feel weird, right? All the things that we haven't done in the last 18 months, all of that shit's going to feel weird. And it's going to be weird to be with crowds, and it's going to be weird to be with people, and different things are going to piss us off about different things. That's like 100% fucking normal of what's going to happen with that. But it still doesn't make any sense, does it? Kelly says, don't even get me started on grad. I know. Yeah, and Helen, if they can televise hockey games, why can't they televise rodeo and chuck wagons? I don't get the reasoning behind that, but I also don't know what they base their decision on. So I can't say, other than I agree with you, Cheryl, in that all of it's kind of, what the fuck? What the fuck? Darlene shares this morning, her WTF is all the magpies that have moved in. No balance in nature happening. There must be a dozen nesting in our yard. A few are fine, but not so many. You kind of have like Alfred Hitchcock, the crows going on with magpies or what. They're eating all the other little birds' eggs, including robin eggs, and they're eating some of the new baby birds. What the fuck, magpies? They're such scavenger survivors. I mean, I remember as a child, my mom could attest to, I loved magpies. I thought magpies were the most amazing birds. And I think it was just because I liked to cheer for the underdog and nobody liked magpies. And so I remember thinking, well, their feathers are beautiful because if you look at them, if you get one, they're actually kind of iridescent-y green, and I would be pro magpie all the time and nobody else would. But I think I just loved them because nobody else did. But Darlene, I feel you. I feel you. You could send some over here. We've got a lot of little birds, one including, okay, so see this little thing behind me right here that I'm kind of pointing at, other direction. Okay, that. So that's burlap, and I have yet to kind of clean it out and replant from last year. But you can see in that one corner, it's completely empty right here because the little birds have been coming to my deck over the last couple weeks and stealing all of that burlap to make nests. So I guess there's that. That doesn't really bother me, but is what it is. Is what it is. Helen says, Saskatchewan grade 12s are a go. Why not Alberta? And I think it's because Saskatchewan is ahead of us in the numbers game, I guess. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think maybe because it was hard to plan. I don't know, Kelly, maybe you can speak to this a little bit. But I don't know why they couldn't have something outside. And I know in the community I live in, they would do where they would kind of march down the street downtown and people would come out into the streets and cheer them. It was like a grade 12 parade, and they would walk up in their cap and gowns and we would all line the street and cheer for them as they walked from the museum up to the park where they would have the grad ceremony. And gosh, I wish that it would be great. Oh, Darlene just says that Sexsmith had a parade on their main street. Yeah, and we've done that in High River. Obviously not last year, but the 2 years prior to that, we did. They came right up 4th Avenue, and it was fantastic. Kelly said they had a meeting last night, and they're hoping things lift. Right now, they're telling us Zoom. I just don't get it. Just don't get it. I don't know why we couldn't safely have them walk up that street. And if I mean, I guess I know that people gather, but it's the same as when you were in the mall. If you're all in that corridor in the mall, you just spread out or have your mask on. Are masks not the safety thing here? Just, hey, no, right? So why can't they walk up that street and we all have our mask on and we cheer them as they go by, and we could use noisemaker. If you don't want people yelling and screaming, we could use noisemakers. There could be all kinds of cool things. But I'm not on the committee. I don't know all of the details. I can't, but I can feel your pain on that one because it makes no effing sense to me. None whatsoever. Kelly says, my daughter goes to NDC, so it comes down to the religion part of it, or the teachers are going the easy route. I brought up the parade. Yeah, and I mean, especially Cheryl makes a good point because they're all in that classroom cohort. Heather said she's seen downtown streets and have the grads outside setting tables, supporting local restaurants, also like that. And it could come down to maybe the teachers are just exhausted from this year and they don't have it in them to plan. I don't know how this goes, friends. I'm a few years away from being a parent of a grad, but I don't know. I think that there's parents that would easily step in to do some of those pieces. Kelly would be an example of that. And it doesn't matter what community you live in, people would step up to the table to do this because we all remember that piece, right? And I think too, this gives me an example of, I don't know, it sort of brings up that, I don't want to call it a battle, but it's always this struggle, this back and forth go-to between citizen work and other element work, whether that be government or what have you. And so my belief has always been, and the work that I've done in the last few years has always been in citizen-driven initiative and allowing citizens to create, do, build, do the things that they want done in their community. And let's not wait for this other entity to do it for us. Let's do it ourselves. So it's hard in this pandemic because there's so much safety protocol that goes a lot into it as well. But what is that balance of us getting citizen-driven initiatives to make things happen? My friend Fauna and I, who host a show called Cake and Eat It podcast, interviewed a man from, he lives in Vashon. I think it's called Vashon City. It's just an island just outside of Seattle in the US. And they had, and again, we know Canada versus the US is completely different in so many elements, but they had citizen-led initiative to get vaccine put into their community. And so they, and I don't know how, because I don't know the rules and we didn't go into detail, but he talked about how volunteers stepped up to ensure that everyone in the community on that island was vaccinated so that they could carry on with what they wanted to do for those who chose to be vaccinated. And it was just citizen driven. We've really, really stepped back from that in this process. And I think it was really coming that way again, because I think we had a time frame. If you go back 100 years or more, if something needed to be done in a community, you did it, right? It's just like if somebody needed a barn, y'all went and built it. If somebody needed something in town, everybody just built it. People just came together and did shit. And then it really steered back to, well, this is the government's job and this is government role and this is this person's thing. And we're just going to wait for this to happen. And that was the mentality for so long. And then now we've had this shift again where we could take that back. And I thought we were really seeing some progress in that. And then this pandemic hit. And then it was really so out of our hands on so many pieces. But friends, I would love to see us taking the reins back as we come out of this. And I'm not meaning we free for all and say the government and don't listen to safety protocol. I am not saying that whatsoever. But what I am saying is we have to start creating the communities in which we want to live. Does that make sense? Am I totally off my rocker today? It is WTF Wednesday, so it could be like that. Kelly says they've asked the drive-in, but no response. So mom's trying to get an answer. Yeah, that would also be really cool, right? You could walk them across a stage of some sort. I think, Kelly, this show's a great example of parents who have great idea. So how could we step in and support what that looks like? How could we, as community, stand behind our graduates? And what does that look like? And how could we help? And how could community be a part of that? And who needs what else? I mean, Kelly, I loved on your Facebook the other day that you were like, remember when our community held chuck wagon racing for 10 days? And could that be something we could do again? Could community step in and make those things happen? Yes, we can. But I think we're all still, there's a good chunk of us that are still a little bit afraid of what that looks like and what's allowed and what isn't and what could, but somehow my faithful friends, we have to move past that bullshit. And I'm not sure how. I do not have the answer to that. All I know is I can cheerlead, support, brainstorm, advocate. But I hope we start to go back to that frame of mind and that kind of thinking, if that makes sense. And that's that. If you're catching the show later on a replay, please put #replay in the comments. Let us know what your WTF moment is today. Did you have something that you were like, what is going on? What is happening right now? Share it in the comments, whether you're mad at the Magpies or whatever else it could be. Get it off your chest today. Yeah, Darlene says, are we afraid for ourselves and others or of breaking the rules? It's a struggle. Yeah, and when there's a safety component in there, Darlene, like, I get it, because I'm the same mindset where I'm like, well, can't we just do this? And then I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand the rules enough. I don't understand. And I think that's been the giant WTF of this whole entire pandemic, is just the explanation to us has just never been clear, right? We've never felt solid, really solid on any of it making any sense to us. And I think that's the hard part. So then we don't really know what the safety is, what the rules are. I hate wasps. I really do. I'm not sure their purpose, but so then it makes it, yeah, it's hard to step into what happens next. But what we do know is, of the things we've been told that work or would be safe, can't we do those things with those protocols and still make it happen? But it's kind of messed up. But hopeful. I think we have hope on the horizon of things getting better. And yeah, I think my last WTF that I will leave on, because I want to be conscious of our time together this morning, is just, there's so much language around getting vaccinated and helping the world get back to normal. And there's so much language around being community minded to get vaccinated, to get the world back in order. And I know that there's a lot of people in this world who are choosing not to get that vaccine at this time, who are unsure of it, who don't want to, who, whatever your reasoning, it's yours. It doesn't matter. It's nobody else's business. Go away, you wasp. But what I want to say, he's so distracting, because I'm like, I don't want to swat him, but I don't want him to land on me. And it makes me nervous, and I hate them. What I do want to leave you with on this note of like, what is he doing? Go to your own home. This is where you get to see me be a total freak. Honestly, let's go in the house together, because he's making me crazy. I wanted to make this great point, and then the bee got me. What I wanted to say to you was, if you're someone who has chosen not to get the vaccine for whatever your reasoning, and again, your business, your purpose, your body, okay, there's so much language around those who are getting vaccinated are the ones who are opening the world back up. And I just wanted to take a minute to say that you should not feel bad whatsoever if that's how you're feeling. And if you choose not to get that vaccine, if that's your personal choice, and again, it's your personal freaking choice, but if that is your choice, that does not mean you are not a good person. It does not mean you are not community minded. And it does not mean that you aren't a part of putting this world back into its place. And I'm sick and tired of that language around that for people who, there's a good chunk of people based on allergy and medication and lifestyle that aren't able to get that vaccine. And there's so much language around making you feel like complete garbage if you're not a part of that. And so I just wanted to take a minute to say it's your personal choice, and you're not a bad person, and you're not being a part of the solution, and reminding you that everybody has their own choice, and don't allow that to be a divide between us, because I think we can all safely move this world forward, whether you get it or not. And just because you get it or just because you don't, that isn't what defines you as a good person. What defines you as a great person is how you treat people. How you fucking treat people is what makes you a good person. Not whether you choose medication versus not, versus mask versus not, whatever the other things are that we have all felt really divided on. That doesn't make you a good person. You are not. For either, whichever one you choose, you still have to treat people better. Anyway, I know we are missing our families. I see a few of that in there. I know people are getting their doses, and I'm so glad for you. And everybody's doing what's best for them and best for their scenario. And I just felt that on my heart today to say, whatever your choice is, how you treat people is what defines you as a good person. What you do in this world defines you as a good person. And how are you being a part of your community? And yeah, that's that. Get it or don't get it. But that's not what makes you community minded. What makes you community minded is what you're going to do. What's your action? What's your plan? What's your jump into that? And now I've rambled on for way too long. But friends, thank you. Cheers to you on this beautiful Wednesday. Happy WTF Wednesday. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning for Thankful Thursday, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Look forward to seeing you then. Mwah. Have a great day.